Hey folks, welcome back. In this session, again, we will understand how do we use and recognize the characters from MNIST dataset with a very simple option. Earlier, I have used the same MNIST dataset with complex CNN structures. We used AlexNet to find it out, but now I have come up with a very simple method which is going to be very helpful for you to recognize the characters in the MNIST dataset with very minimal complexity. In fact, no complexity. We are going to go by that step by step, and it's very easy for anybody to understand. First step, as usual, you can see that here we are importing TensorFlow as TF. Matplotlib is needed. We are going to make a lot of plots and we are going to read out the image content out there, and we are importing that, and we are importing pyplot. We are importing numpy as np, and that's the first step. That's the fundamental stuff that is done. And the next step is how do we use, or what are all the what are all the data sets that we are using? We are using MNIST dataset, and that's taken right away from Keras. We are not complicating it, and we are taking it right away from Keras. That's what is shown in front of you. Now the next step is to understand how does the image look like. We need to see the image content, and just to tell you that this is what the content is. We are displaying the content with for I in a range of 9, and we are just plotting it using subplot and IMShow. Both are very important, and with that we have displayed the image content. This will give you an idea as in what is the content inside that MNIST dataset, and we have pulled out not everything. We have pulled out some sample images out of that so that we can get a clarity about how does it look like. Now everything is numbers here. We need to understand how many images are there, what is the dimension of the image. So for that, what do we do here? We are printing the dimensions as well as the number of images, and you can see that we have got 60,000 images with 28 cross 28 as the dimension, and we have been getting the results clearly out here, and this will help you in understanding the range of the image going from 0 to 255, which means we are getting the range, the numbers, the inside the matrix between 0 to 255. Now the next step is very important. We need to normalize it. So we are normalizing it by dividing it by 255 so that the value can come in between 0 and 1. It has to be one of those. So we have normalized it. And now comes the major part. We are building the model, and all this time we have been building model with a lot of complex steps. We had multiple layers in between here and there, but now it's not required. So what do? We are going to go with a simple flatten layer. I'm going to use the flatten layer with input dimension 28 cross 28. And what is the next step? We are going right away to the dense layers. Normally we use it in the last stage, but since we use only 3 layers here totally, one is flatten and 2 dense, we are getting into the dense layer right away. We have got 128 units, and we have used a ReLU activation scheme here. You can use anything. Here we have tried out ReLU, and it is found to be very effective. And the next layer is going to be dense layer again with 10 units of activation. Why we use 10 here is to be justified. We have got output numbers. The number of images there are from 0 to 9. So we are going to have only 10 images out there. Then the content is from 0 to 9 only. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 is what is written there, and all the images are one of those. So we need to really get that reflected here, and for that we have 10 here, and we have used softmax here. Again, softmax is tried through trial and error, and you can choose any method that you want. Right. What is the next step? We have built the model. Is it sufficient? No, we need to compile it. So we are going to compile it, and for compilation, as usual, I have chosen the Adam optimizer. The last parameter has to be specified, and it's sparse categorical cross entropy, and the metrics, as usual, it has to be accuracy. I have told enough about it in my previous models, and I hope you can understand through that. And now we are going to fit it. We are going to use the model fit with the training images, the training labels, and epochs clearly specified. I've got 5 epochs here, which means it will go on all the 60,000 samples, and we get the results clearly updated. You can see that, and then we are going to print. We are going to print, and the results are available here right now. And the final stage, if you see it here, that is what I am into now. It will print one of the images which is taken out and which will reflect the result. We have predicted and we have presented what that could be, and it is 7. Now what is the conclusion here? It's a very simple approach where you can really build a model without going deeper, without complicating it with multiple layers, yet in a very effective way. This is very accurate, isn't it? It's very accurate, but yet very effective. So this will take a lot of time saved by you, and you can see that the accuracy is 97.59 out here. That's a pretty good accuracy for this kind of very simple models. So in case you are building a model which you want not to be complex at the same time to be effective, go ahead with this. I hope you like that. If you have any questions, suggestions, please go ahead and type it in the comment sections. In case you like the content and the channel, please subscribe and give a thumbs up. Thank you very much.